welcome our fellow environmentalists and mindset changes. As Visual Eco Care, we are at the Game Rangers International. We're visiting the elephant orphanage. Is that what it's called?
It's called the nursery, but you know,
the concept is same.
The nursery for the small ones.
So would you tell us about the boards?
So obviously the welcome board, our visitors, they can find us. Very important on the bottom, we have the organisations that actually make it possible for us to be here, because we're running as the organisation, but everybody needs help. So we're very happy. So Lafarge actually helped us build the thing. Lilly donated the land. I4, David Shepherd and Olsen's are our major donors. They really, really help us out. But most importantly, the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, which used to be known as ZAWA. I think a lot more people know the Zambia Wildlife Authority. And in fact, we still call it kind of ZAWA.
Yes.
But they're responsible for all the wildlife in Zambia, and we work hand in hand with them. So we're very lucky that they were happy for us to come here and do this project under their guardianship.
Yes.
So they're very big partners of ours.
So before we get in and find out, would you just give a short version of what you guys do here?
Okay, so as it says, the Elephant Nursery. Now it's part of the Elephant Orphanage Project.
Yes.
The project is kind of two bits: the nursery and the release facility.
Yes.
So we are rescuing elephants. As a Department of National Parks and Wildlife, they will find orphan elephants where the mothers have been killed either for ivory, or perhaps there's been some human-elephant conflict, and a small baby has been left behind.
Yes.
If the baby is left, it's going to die.
Yes.
So we bring it here, we try and save its life, keep it fit and healthy, and get it to a stage where it can move to the release facility, which is in Kafue National Park, and that's where they learn to become an elephant again, with the ultimate aim of putting them back in the wild, where they can live the life they should have been living before their mothers were killed.
One thing that you brought out is that you got help from these organizations. And then the people that are watching, how can they help if they feel late?
Actually, there's many ways they can help. First of all, if you happen to live in the area, please come and visit us.
Yes.
Even just coming, there's a small entry fee or 50 kwacha, but that money really helps us pay the staff, helps us to feed the elephants. You can actually come and donate. We're obviously happy to accept money donations, but we feed the elephants a lot of food and things like jungle oats, Future Life cereal, coconut, whey powder, milk powder, any of those things. So when you're doing your shopping, you can put one extra in your basket. Just drop it off here at the nursery or our office in Leopards Hill. If you're outside of the country and that's not possible, you can still donate online. We have a Just Giving site. It helps us build all the projects. We've got a lot of women empowerment projects. We have resource protection projects, and that income is very gratefully received. If you want hands-on, go on our website, GameRangersInternational.org, and click on volunteer. Come out and work with us for a week or two and see what you can do. Both in-country, we're welcoming Zambians, internationals. As long as you're 18 and over, we have no upper age limit. So please, join us.
So you heard it, ladies and gentlemen, you're very much welcome. So I'm going to link all their websites and all their contacts to, if it's on YouTube, you're watching this, you can find it in the description section. And then if it's on Facebook, you'll find it along the article that's been published. Stay tuned and let's get and see the elephants.
Welcome to the Lilly Elephant Nursery. So the Elephant Nursery here is 50% of the Elephant Project. And the Elephant Project is part of wildlife rescue under Game Rangers. Has anyone been to us before? Yeah, okay. Would you like to do the talk so I can go for an early lunch? Okay, so Game Rangers International is made up of three parts: wildlife rescue, community outreach, resource protection. And I'm hoping that by the end of your visit today, you'll go home with a better understanding of what we're trying to do here and how important those two things are to the elephants you're going to see in front of you. But at the end of the day, my job here is to try and get them fit and healthy so that they can get to a stage where they can go to the release facility. Victor, my colleague, is standing in front here. These are the bigger elephants. These are all come to us when they've been small. And as you see now, there's some quite big elephants in there. There are 21 elephants in total under our sort of auspice. 2 of them have already gone back in the bush. They took themselves off. 2 of them unfortunately died after they'd been released, but the rest are still within our care. What we're trying to do here is get them fit enough to go there, and when they go there, they stop thinking about humans at all, and they start remembering what it's like to be a wild elephant. Quite often get asked, is your project working? It's very difficult to tell in a project as young as ours. This is just our 11th year. Elephants don't mature till they're about 9, 10, 11 years old. So for a female to start having babies, the earliest they would normally have in the wild is sort of 14, 15. For a male bull elephant to start breeding, he's capable from the age of about 10 years, but he has to cope with the big guys. It's a bit like going to Lusaka on a Saturday night, you know? The 16-year-olds are very ready, but the guy with the BMW and the job is the one who's going to win. Huh? So the elephants are the same in the bush. When they get to 20, 25, they start to get breeding opportunity, and then they've got to compete with the 40-year-olds, and those 40-year-olds are tough boys, huh?
Hello fellow environmentalists and mindset changers. Today we are at the Elephant Orphanage in Lilai, which is run by Game Rangers International. And with us today we have a friend that works with Game Rangers International, Liz O'Brien. Liz, welcome to the interview.
Thank you very much, and welcome to Lilai. You're very welcome.
Thank you so much. So, off the top, Liz, Game Rangers International. What exactly, who are they? What exactly do they do?
Okay, so Game Rangers International is a non-governmental organisation formed 2008 after some years. David Shepherd, who is a famous wildlife artist and was a great friend of Kenneth Kaunda, was asked by Mr. Kaunda to help with an orphan elephant, and had been involved with Zambia for some years, many years. He also then had a colleague, Mr. Sport Beatty, who got talking to him, and between them they saw there was a need in Zambia for some of the elephants that were being orphaned by poaching. And so Sport started up Game Rangers International back in 2008.
Okay.
Their sort of mission, if you like, is to try and protect the environment, save the animals, and with the wildlife, rescue, rehabilitate and release back into the wild, whilst at the same time using resource protection to protect the environment and community outreach to work with all the communities who are affected by having wildlife in their lives.
Okay, that's wonderful. So when it comes to the wildlife aspect, it's not just elephants you're involved in.
No, I mean, it started with an elephant, but as it becomes and we now have 21 elephants sort of in and around our project, but we are now wildlife rescue rather than just elephants, because we found, especially here actually on the outskirts of Lusaka, where you're sort of heading for open country, more and more people call us with orphan bush bugs, duiker, bush babies, small animals. We also work very closely with the Department of National Parks and Wildlife, assisting them wherever possible when they have calls for injured animals that have been caught maybe in snares or have been injured by bushmeat poachers.
Okay. And coming to the Elephant Orphanage itself, how was it started, and how did you pick this particular location in Lilai? Because a person would expect this place to be in a national park somewhere.
Sure, and as I say, well, there's a lot of questions in one there. So when the project first started, the entire project was based in Kafue National Park.
Okay.
The release facility where the older orphans go to begin their journey back into the wild is still in Kafue National Park. Okay. A lot of the Game Rangers activities are based in the national park.
All right.
One thing that happened a few years after the start of the organisation, when you have a very small orphan elephant and it's sick, and you're in the middle of Kafue National Park, you are a 7-hour drive away from the nearest vet or the nearest pharmacy, and it became very difficult providing what the calves needed at the time they needed it. So the decision was taken by Sport and by Rachel Merton, she is the director of the Wildlife Rescue, that we needed to have a nursery for the very small orphans at the point of rescue, and it needed to be closer to where all the laboratories, the vets and the pharmacies. Lusaka, obviously as the capital city, was the obvious place. It was the nearest big town. So they started looking around. The Miller family, who own Lilai Lodge and Lilai Game Reserve, actually donated a piece of land. And said, you are welcome to come here. So with the permission of Department of National Parks and Wildlife, the nursery was set up here at Lilai.
Okay, wonderful information. Then your role here, Liz, what exactly do you do?
That's a very good question. And if you ask me that question every day for a year, I will probably give you a different answer every day for a year. I head up the vet team. So my sort of specialty is actually the elephant rescues first and foremost, the health, diet, nutrition and welfare of the elephants, plus all the other wildlife. In the last few months, we've had fish eagle, bushbuck, duiker, bush baby, all needing to take care of. So my job is to sort of work out what we need to do, how we need to look after them, what we need to feed them, and the plan for getting them back into the wild. On top of that, my aim is to teach everybody I work with how to do everything I do, because for us, for game rangers, it's very, very important that any knowledge that is brought into the project is shared to the local people, shared to the employees, so everybody within the organisation is learning, and eventually they can take over the job themselves perhaps. And I'm very hopeful that one day there'll be one of the people who currently work with me will actually be working in place of me.
You have some nightmares at times, but as a keeper, if it means to sleep with them in the stable, do that, because they have lost the love from their mother. So we're doing our best to restore the love in them. So now they all have got names according to the place where they came from and the situation at hand during the time of rescue. So the youngest baby, her name is Olimba Mtima. That's our local language, which simply means strong hand. So she has been here for almost 5 weeks now from South Ruangwa National Park. Her mother died a terrible death. She was snared along the neck. At the same time, she was shot 3 times by a poacher. Besides that, the baby was close to the mother, trying to touch the body of the mother, but the mother was too injured to be saved. So just put her to rest. But the baby was stabilized for 5 days before flown from South Ruangwa to Lusaka by Profile Zambia. So when she came, she was still looking fit, but with the help of the keepers, we tried our best to restore the trust in it. Now, she's full trusting the keeper and all the other head. Then the other baby next to us, her name is Lani. Lani is 1 year, 8 months old. Lani was found from Fungulani village by some community members, and reports suggest that Lani got separated from the mother and just went to cross the borders of Mozambique. So waited for the mother to come for the baby, but the mother never showed up. So she was brought here to come and meet the new family. Now together as one, they are all doing well. They really socialize with each other. And the baby near this tree, her name is Tuko or Lufutuko. That's a full name. That's a Tonga name. Simply means someone who has survived. So she survived from the poachers, and she's 1 year, 11 months old. Lufutuko is so prayerful. All the time is always with a big branch. So down the reception, you see a toy for Tuko in a big branch, holding a branch. So all you know that all these animals have got different personalities. We had one elephant, now she's in Kafue National Park. She had a strong heart. She used to care for these baby elephants. In case one baby has been beaten by the other, she'll try to put off the fight, trying to care for the babies. So they're just like us human beings.
What exactly do you do here?
So actually my role is to make sure that I visit around the schools around Lusaka. Sensitize those kids in the importance of preserving nature. We have the program called Chongoro Clubs. But at least once in a week we go visit the schools, trying to sensitize those kids on the importance of wildlife. Apart from that, I also welcome the guests who wants to come and see the elephants. Then I explain to them about the history of our baby elephants, how we rescue them, and about all their ages, all those things.
What's normally the reaction of the kids in schools to your talks on elephants? I know most of them have probably never seen them in person.
Yeah, actually, the reaction is positive. When they come, they appreciate nature, understand the importance of our wildlife. Actually, very few people know about our wildlife, but when they see eye to eye, they understand the importance of our wildlife. And many of the times when they come here, they enjoy with a good experience of our tour, and they also explain the importance of seeing other wildlife, talking about the bush baby and the common duiker. It's not only about elephants, but we care all those species of animals.
Okay. I hear before your latest position, you were actually the key person taking care of the elephants. I'm sure that gave you a unique perspective. There's this belief that elephants are emotional, are compassionate. From your close interaction with elephants, how true is that?
Yes, actually, the elephants are just like us human beings. Yeah, they have good emotions, and they can feel if someone, maybe someone you are stressed, and especially when one colleague has been shot dead by a poacher, they'll keep on trying to revisit the place where the colleague was shot dead, trying to touch the bones or the remains of the deceased. In the process, they're trying to remember their friend. They are mourning in a way. So they have got some affections which even us human beings have.
Okay. Then another thing I was trying to find out from you, I hear elephants have a way of showing fondness to a person by probably trying to touch them with their foot. How are they able to tell what kind of pressure to apply on a person so that they don't hurt a person?
Actually, these animals, they are very intelligent. So with my 8 years experience of working as a keeper, at times I used to sit down, maybe an elephant just approach me, trying to sit on my laps, but it can't do that, it can't put the whole weight, because that I'm just a mere person. It can just squash me here and there. Because of their intelligence level, they just more like trying to put on the lap, but they not with the whole weight.
Okay.
But again, just trying to put the trunk around my neck, trying to play with me. At times, I'm able just to put my fingers in their mouth, then they are sucking.
Okay.
In the process, I just trying to think as if it's their mother in the world, sucking the nipples of the mother.
Okay.
So, all in all, the keepers, they have built a strong trust in the elephant. The keeper is able to use the word of command in case if they are fighting. Sometimes they do fight, more like kids, especially over food. So a keeper is able to use the word of command to stop them from fighting each other.
Okay.
Yes.
Then let's talk about the stage upon which you perform, the elephant deck. What is it like being on that stage, being the main performer, the center of attraction?
Actually, with me, it has been my desire and my dream. You know, one thing I just need to understand is that anything is possible in life, or if you have got the vision and the determination. So with me, I've been tirelessly trying to improve myself in life. Back then, I was working as a kitchen porter. Then I found myself working with the elephant. But before that, I had the passion for animals.
Okay.
Living at home, I used to keep dogs. So that passion grew in me until the passion for animals, at least I'm with the elephants. But back then, I was a junior keeper. So despite being a junior keeper, I still focused on my vision or my career of being someone, at least of being a teacher. So I used to be given enough time by the company. You know, our project, our management, talking about our manager, Reese Obland, and our director, Rachel Newton, they've been very supportive to my studies. They used to offer me time to go and study. I used to study under distance education.
Okay.
So at times, even after 3 months, I used to go for 2 weeks to do my studies. Then they were very flexible to my studies. So what I can just say is that that's why I can't move out of this project, because they've been very supportive. So I need to pay back what they did to me. So at least meeting different people from different backgrounds at the viewing deck, it gives me a good experience of trying to interact with different people from different cultures. Others they are from out of Africa, others within Africa. Even some people, local people here, at times I feel good when I receive some local people to see and also appreciate the importance of nature.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is one women's group, this is another women's group, bracelets and earrings, another women's group, baskets, another women's group. So it's just a way of showing, our priority is to sell what is made by our women's groups. Our second priority is, like the cards and the things here, they have been donated by visitors who've come, or volunteers have gone home. They give us 100% of them, so all the money goes towards the project. Then after that, say things like the book sales, they donate a percentage. But we'd rather, for us, the important things are the women's group things. Our women's groups don't just all do things to sell. We have one group where we've National Milling very kindly donated an oven. They have set up a bakery. Their village is about a 4-hour walk from the nearest town. So somebody was kind of getting up at 4 in the morning and cycling, buying the 24 loaves of bread, not to feed the elephant, bringing it back down and selling. And now they're baking in the village. They're making $150 a month. Every month, in an area where there's a lot of human-elephant conflict. So now we're giving them a reason. Without us, they wouldn't have the oven. So without elephants, they wouldn't be earning $150. So now they're like, what else can we do? So we're now trying to get another oven for another village. A community next to them, they had women dying having babies in the 21st century for no real reason. It wasn't a complicated, but it was just they didn't have anyone with any experience. There was no water, no power. With the help of the German embassy, we built a mother's shelter. There are 6 beds, clean bedding. We put a solar water pump, solar power. We put a borehole, and there's a clinical assistant employed. In the 5.5 years since it was built, we've had over 700 babies born, no loss of life. That's how you save elephants. Because now those people, it's like, wow, this has made a big difference. We're sitting there looking at what the issue is. Where the release facility is down near Lake Itez, huge fishing area. The fish are in a situation where you have to have a license to fish. So you go here to get your piece of paper, but you have to go over here, a kilometre or 2 kilometres away, to pay, and then here to get it stamped. And it was like, so we have meetings with the district commissioner, with the authorities, Ministry of Fisheries. Can we make this easier? If you want the fishermen to get licenses, make it simple. Put the stamping and the paying and the paper in the same place. Or can we provide a way of doing it? We went out on the lake with them and we showed them how to pull all the old fishing net out of the lake because it's pollution. We told them why you shouldn't fish with a mosquito net. I know of one charity that came in 8 years ago into Sesheki, down in the Western Province, and they were telling everybody, look, we've given out 500 mosquito nets. We've really helped with malaria. Oh my God! Now what they helped with was poisoning the Zambezi River because everybody went fishing with their new nets, which were infused with permethrin to kill mosquitoes. So now we've got a kilometre of Zambezi River poisoned, and then all the little baby fish are also fished out. So now next year, no fish. So we do lessons in the hot. This is it. As I say, elephants are cute. Teaching about the size of hole in a fishing net is not cute, but really important because the little fish have got to get away. Otherwise, next year there's no big fish. And this is the kind of thing that we do with our community outreach programs in the state. Again, it's environmental education. It's your baby. We had a girl from one of the international schools came on a deck talk, and she was so moved. And this is when we have Musalole here. Most of our elephants, as you'll have seen, are named after either where they come from, or something relating to their situation, like strong heart, because she had to have a strong heart because her mother was. Musalole and Mulisani are our 2 exceptions. Musalole is named after WPO Sitali Musalole, who was a DMPW wildlife officer who was shot dead trying to stop his mother being poached. We lost 2 wildlife police officers that day. Wow. We also lost Musalole's mother, and 24 hours later, National Parks shot the poacher. 3 human lives, 1 adult elephant for what? For nothing. The same as your teeth. You know, pull your teeth out, put them on the wall if you want to look at ivory on a wall, you know. You want to make a chess set, make a small one. Mm-hmm. So sitting there, so this lady, she was about 15 at the time. Mm-hmm. This was her school project, and it's amazing. So we've got the river, all the animals coming down, the reality of the mother being killed, and that is how you take the tusks out of an elephant. You cut the front of its face off with an axe. Wow. You don't do a surgical incision and gently remove them. They literally will take an axe, and the elephant might not even be dead. Ooh. The elephant will just be down, and they will hack it in. And then obviously the wildlife police officer, she wrote this amazing poem, and we've left it here because it does, it attracts attention. It allows people to talk about it. So we're very grateful to her. I just think her name should be on here. There we go, Zaina. So she was in the, and we've had it ever since.
She's the one that did that poem.
Yeah, and she did the whole thing.
Okay.
Made the whole thing, and she did a whole thing about animal cruelty, how humans exploit animals. You know, and why it's not necessary, and this was the focus of her project. So, yeah, and then we try and keep, so we've got a timeline at the top of all the elephants, and we have to move them all along. The first one here is the story of a rescue. At the end of the rescue, they end up at Lilai Elephant Nursery. Then we have the story of a translocation. At the end of a translocation, they're at Kafui Release Facility. The next stage from there will be in the wild. That's where we end up here with Chamalandu having her first baby. I mean, he is, I tell you, I mean, elephants are cute, but I've got to tell you, this little one, oh my word. I think I've got up-to-date photos somewhere, but he is the hugest elephant.
So the name is
Mutanzi David, and this is firstborn in Ela. And the David is for David Shepherd, because David Shepherd, the wildlife artist, is the one who worked with our chief executive officer to form Game Rangers. So his support over the last 11 years is how we are where we are. So it's to honour him.
Then going a bit back in time, how did you find yourself working with animals, particularly wildlife?
Okay, so I started at 11 years old. I wrote to my local vet in the UK and I told him, I want to be a vet, you need to give me a job. I was very lucky, he said, okay. So I started at a very young age working just in a vet store, so it was mostly cats and dogs. But then as I got a little bit older, I helped him with horses, cattle, sheep, goats. You know, by the age of 16, I was already doing a lot of veterinary nursing. I then went to agricultural college where I expanded my knowledge of sort of livestock. I then became a qualified veterinary nurse. Long story short, I went into management and ended up owning a company that sold computer systems to vets. But I really wanted to get back to working with animals, and I wanted to take what I'd learned about animals into wildlife conservation. I was volunteering with the David Shepherd Wildlife Foundation in the UK, just stuffing mail shots for them, manning exhibition stalls at events, and I got discussing, and they said they had a project in Zambia that had elephants, maybe I could volunteer there. So in June 2011 I came and did a 1-month volunteer, and I've pretty much been working with and for GRI ever since.
Considering that background you've talked about, could you just give some advice to all of us out here, parents especially? What do you say to kids that show a passion, an affection, an attraction to animals at an early age?
I think anyone who's got any wish to work with wildlife, with conservation, is that it's like you do need some determination, but my advice to anybody is get in touch with any local organisations and offer to volunteer, because a lot of these organisations aren't maintained by any government funds. They rely on fundraising, saying that can't necessarily afford to pay full-time jobs, but everybody can do something to help. I started just working two hours an evening, mopping the floors in a veterinary surgery. You know, and then so I would say get out there, go and talk to people. I mean, we have a volunteer program here at Game Rangers, and we're hoping to expand that so we get a lot more Zambian volunteers in the coming years. Offer yourself. We're now working with UNZA, for example, taking some of their students on placements, working with the vet school, trying to think. So get out there, make it clear what you feel you have to give, and then show it by, say, volunteering, offering yourself, and turning up on time, you know, doing the job, and just showing people what you can do, and never give up.
I'm from an environmental education background, so it's inevitable that I ask this question. You're into wildlife as Game Rangers International.
Yes.
A lot of people want to put the wildlife care as the number one priority, and environmental education as the little brother that comes along to support what the big brother is doing.
Yeah.
What do you feel the role of environmental education is in an institution like Game Rangers International?
I think it's an enormous part, and you're absolutely right. People around the world, not just Navajo people around the world, want to look after the animals, whether it's the elephant, whether it's a small lion cub, or they see a panda. Oh, it's so beautiful, I want to help it. And they want to pour their money into helping that. When I say, we can save an elephant, that's fine, we can do that. But if when we release that elephant back into the wild, it is facing all the problems that had its mother killed, then have we really done the best thing?
No.
So Game Rangers International, I would say there are three parts to it: wildlife rescue, resource protection, and community outreach and education.
Okay.
Those second two are probably more important. If you imagine a pyramid with the elephants sitting at the top of the pyramid, because they are our flagship animal, we have a serious problem. Elephants are being killed 1 every 26 minutes.
Wow.
But a female elephant can only have one baby every 5 years. So you see, there is an issue there. But we need to look after the environment that they come from. So environmental education, whether it's firefighting, the amount of burning, 80% of Kafue National Park burns every year because of, sometimes it's a misbelief that fire does something, sometimes it's poachers burning so they don't come across animals they don't want to see, maybe fishermen burn to try and protect themselves from lions coming at night. There's many reasons, but we need to educate, environmental education. We need then to look at the law enforcement side, environmental education, so we talk to people about the danger of a snare. They might only be wanting to snare a small guinea fowl and thinking they are doing no harm. But when an elephant gets its trunk caught in that snare, it's a very big problem. Environmental education. Then community. These communities are living in areas where the elephants are nothing but a source of trouble and a source of food. And when you have nothing and you haven't got anything to feed your children with, who is anybody else to say you shouldn't kill something or you shouldn't chop a tree down and burn charcoal?
Exactly.
So what Game Rangers is doing is working with those communities. How can we sort those problems? You need fuel. How can we help you look at sustainable charcoal perhaps, or alternatives to charcoal? You need to eat. How can we help with that? So there are at least 10 women's groups that Game Rangers have set up that are now providing up to 150 women with a regular source of income.
Wonderful.
So they're not reduced to going out and helping poachers for cash. But it's all environmental education. And I think, as I say, community outreach, resource protection, they are underlying the elephant rescue.
Okay.
And we need to really concentrate on them. So I'm delighted to be sitting here talking to you because I know that your organisation is trying to do exactly the same thing as we are. So we're very happy to collaborate with you.
Thank you. So, Morel, I'll start with what you do here at Game Rangers International. What exactly are your responsibilities? What's your title?
Okay, so here I'm sort of like the research assistant.
Okay.
So that focuses on collecting data.
All right.
Yeah, so we have the head of research who's based at the other facility in Kafue Release facility. So that's the head of research, and then here I'm sort of like a contact point. So I collect information pertaining elephants and the research that we do, which is a behavioral observation study, which focuses on observing the elephant's behavior, which in the long run might help us both on the elephant's welfare and also for our well-being. Probably maybe even help in trying to mitigate human-elephant conflict, I hope. Yes, but I also help out with volunteering supervising, and I also help out with anything that is needed on camp. Yes. So that is sort of like a summary of most of the stuff that I do and focus on here.
Okay. So getting a bit into your background, you were at Mulungushi University?
Yes.
What did you study there?
So I went to Mulungushi University in 2012, and I studied environmental studies.
Okay.
Yes. Environmental studies is sort of like a broad degree. It has a lot of aspects of environmental categories that you can think of.
Okay.
So it can include some law in it, environmental law. It can include some environmental economics, the sociological aspect of a community and how it relates to the environment, and things, wildlife, water, everything that you can think of in the environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So in first year, you usually learn the basic parts of the environment and the 4 categories of the environment, which kind of like opens your mind to see there's a lot of things that I didn't realize that sort of connect to the environment.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I did and studied for 4 years up to 2016.
Okay.
Yes.
Why did you pick a career in the environmental sector? Why not accountancy? Why not economics? Why not nursing? Why not medicine?
Okay.
Why a career in the environmental sector?
I think I'll go back to probably connecting also to my family. I wasn't sure, to be honest, what I wanted to do after I finished my grade 12.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think my parents knew this before I did. I've always loved wildlife, and I've always liked everything from an insect to the largest thing you could think of are always intriguing to me. Yeah. So even the part of the research that I do, the biodiversity study, how you sort of connect every organism together. Yeah. I sort of had that in me back then, maybe when I was in school, but I didn't realize it yet.
Okay.
So by the time I picked the course that I wanted, I just wanted something maybe in those lines, but I wasn't sure. It could have been agriculture, it could have been anything in those lines. So when I picked environmental studies, my dad was like, that's a good course. But he knew what I was getting myself into, but he didn't tell me.
Okay.
So the first class that I had in environmental studies, I remember I called my dad and I told him, I love this course. I think I picked the right course, because he told me, go to school and after your first few classes, you can easily change to another course. But my first class there, I was like, I am sticking to this course because this is the course I've been waiting for.
Okay.
Yeah. So from the first class is when I realized and put all the dots together that this is what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I think forged ahead with environmental studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we look at the environmental sector, it's really a new sector, and very little is known about it in Zambia. So it's hard to get jobs in that sector. So maybe you could walk us through your experiences from the time you graduated at Mulungushi University to you getting a job here at Game Rangers International, specifically here at the Elephant Orphanage.
Okay. When I completed school in 2016 at Mulungushi University, when you have all that passion and you're inspired and you're like, I want to get a job and it should be the best job, and you're at home, and right even before your degree or your certificate comes out, you start applying using your transcript. And I remember I applied to a lot of organizations and even the government. I applied so many places, and I wasn't called for interviews. I wasn't even called even for anything, I wasn't called for anything at all. And I kept doing that for almost 2 years. Yeah. And I heard about
So you were on a job hunt for 2 years?
For 2 years.
2 solid years?
2 solid years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I heard about this place, and I was called here by the director of wildlife rescue. Yeah. And I was called here, and I didn't know it was going to be an interview. She just said, just come and we'll have a chat. I didn't realize, because that was my first interview and I had no experience. So when I came here and they talked to me and asked me some questions and all that, and that was it.
Okay.
I didn't know what was going to come after that. And then they called me in, would you be interested in volunteering? I was like, whether it's volunteering or internship, I'm going to grab that. Yeah. So I came here and I volunteered for 1 month.
Okay.
Yes, for about a month. And after volunteering, I was down at the other facility which focused more on research again collecting behavior of study and making up, coming up with projects that assist the facility and different things like that. And after that was it. I went back home. And in my mind, I thought, oh, maybe it might be something, but like they said, volunteering for a month. So after that, I went back home, and I think a month later, after I had already given up, well, that was it. At least I can add the 1 month to my CV, yeah, which I did. And I kept applying and things like that, and I was called back. Yeah, a month later, I was called back, and they told me, would you be interested to help out with a volunteer supervisor? Because our volunteer supervisor right now has felt sort of like a family emergency and they need to go out and you can't get someone really quickly. Could you come in? And I was like, another opportunity, let me rush for this. So I went, and that's how I was called in. And ever since then, I was relocated here and I started working, and yeah, that's when I got the job.
Okay.
Yes.
Happy time, I'm sure, right?
Happy time, definitely. After waiting for a very long time, you sort of now start to see that there's probably a reason for everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm grateful. Maybe the patience paid off, even though at times in those 2 years you're like, wow,
Exactly.
and things like that, and then you're like, oh, maybe it's worthwhile. Yeah.
Okay. So now you've been with Game Rangers International and Elephant Orphanage for some time. What has it been like working here?
I love working here. I think I keep telling my boss Liz most of the time that I love my job. I definitely love every section of it, and since I came, I have learned so much.
Okay.
And there are a lot of categories to conservation that I feel like not a lot of people realize, and it sort of brings perspective into a lot of things. There are a lot of categories of it that come together that you thought, oh, when I go into conservation, it's only going to be animals or grass or trees or insects or anything. But you have to also include the education aspect of it. You also have to include the financial aspect of it, the how that organism affects the other organism, the non-living organisms and how they affect that living organism and everything like that. So it brought into perspective a lot of things, and I'm like, okay, this is very broad, and it connects everything together in the long run. So I did learn a lot of skills that I didn't even know about when I was in school. Yeah, I thought I would use everything at school. Of course I did, but I learned so much more.
Okay.
Yeah, especially from my bosses, and I'm very thankful they had the faith in me to even teach me all those things. Yeah. So no, it has been amazing, and I've been with Game Rangers International for a year now.
Okay. Congratulations for that.
Thank you.
So I will now give you an opportunity to encourage someone out there that has just finished their studies and is embarking on a job hunt. Some have probably been job hunting for a year and they're giving up.
Maybe even 3 years.
Yes, maybe even 3-4 years, true.
Yeah.
And they're giving up, saying, maybe I chose the wrong career. I shouldn't have done something related to conservation or the environment. What advice would you give them?
My advice would be, I was there, and I know maybe some of you out there are probably job hunting for even more than 2 years. Yeah. Finding a job in conservation, I do understand how hard it is, because not everyone, especially in Zambia, sees the value in conservation. So I would encourage them never to give up, and when they find that job that they really love to do, they should hold on to it. And they should also consider that they should put their whole into the job that they have. So I think that just the baseline is never to give up, because opportunities will always come up. It might be sooner, it might be later, and you might feel like this it might never show up, but it will. Yeah, somewhere along the lines it will.
Okay.
Yeah, so never give up, just keep forging on, and if there's something that you can do without waiting for someone to employ you, do it.
Thank you very much, Timothy. Here at Game Rangers International, I am with Madam Esther. Madam Esther. Okay, welcome to this segment of our interview.
Thank you.
Usebenza kuno ni vinyama ni vantu makhalidwe ali bwanji simuchitamanta kuti ayi chielefanti chingakugwire oro bwanji
Koma sinchitamanta chifukwa chakuti ndikonda maningi nyama.
Okay. Vantu kunyumba sivachitamanta mukapita kunchito ati ayi mwina kakari kotera ona amai oro bwanji
Iyayi sivangachite sivankhala mamanta na veve chifukwa chakuti chilimunga na veve vakonda nyama mwe.
Ni banja yokonda vinyama. Okay, chokondwereza.
Then chinango chamene nikondweramo kukhala pali place na vinyama. Ndi mwamene niphunzirako vana ku skulu nakankhalidwe kamene kavuta kamulusaka ndi mwamene nitandiziriwa mwamene kupeza chakudya chiyese vana vaende ku skulu ampeni kamba nina vana 4 wonse ava vasungiwa chifukwa cha Game Rangers International vaenda ku skulu vaviri ni va grade 11 apa vaenda mu grade 4 mmoja naemba grade 7 yeah ka last born kaenda middle. Yeah, so mapayment yonse yachoka
kunkulu.
Yeah.
Okay, so akatsiriza skulu vana mfuna vakagwire ntchito sotano mwina mfuna vakagwire ko ntchito kuno samatira vinyama
ngani mwamuna we last born eve kone kamunga anayambala kuyamba.
Okay.
Yeah, akumbwira maningi. Ndinza nkhala ranger.
Yeah, icho kondweletsa.
Zankhala ranger. Yeah, so mwana wanga zankhala ranger.
Okay.
Musunga banyama.
Yeah, it's cool.
Okay.
Thank you viewers for joining us on this exciting journey with Game Rangers International. Hope you had a wonderful time on reviewing the secret life of elephants. Make sure you join us on our next episode.